Hello, and welcome to A Chapter a Day. Once again, we are heading on to our another chapter for the second day of the month of February, and it is Friday, so yay! Um, I would like to recap chapter 32 before we go on to chapter 33, in which Jacob and Laban has parted, um, and he's now on his way to back to Isaac's place, and he meets with some angels, um, and they kind of assure him that God is still with him. Ever so often we too ask God for some sort of sign that we are still in favor with him. So Jacob decides to send messengers ahead of him rather, to go see his brother Esau, and to offer him some sort of appeasal in the form of livestock and maybe men servants, women servants, and a message that they should rehearse to give him. And the servants returned to him saying, hey, when we came to Esau, he already had 400 men and he's coming to meet you. So Jacob got even more afraid. And he divided up his servants, his wives, his children into two groups. The ones that he didn't care too much about, apparently I would say that way, he sent them ahead because Leah was in that group. And then Rachel was in the one in the back. So whatever might become of the whole meeting, if he smite the one in front, then there'll be one at the back to kind of maybe change his mind. I'm not sure what his thinking was, but a desperate man. You can tell Jacob was desperate. So what happened is that night before he met up with Esau, he wrestled with a man. Now it's not very clear from where this man came, or if he knew was an angel. I think we say it was an angel, and he told him to let him go, but Jacob refused, so he touched the hollow of his thigh, and that sort of put it out of joint. And he changed his name that day. So he was no longer to be called Jacob. He was now to be known as Israel. So with that said, let's see what's up in chapter 33. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto the two handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, who are those with thee? And he said, the children which God has graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, what meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, these are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God has dealt graciously with me. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, my Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord unto Seir. And Esau said, let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, what needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram, and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar and called it El Elohi Israel. And that's the end of chapter 33, short chapter. And until our next reading, I pray you all have a wonderful day. Take care.